Today, we are going to be talking about all things people pleasing, where it stems from, how to stop it, and the fine line between being a people pleaser and being petty.
So Lana Del Rey is on stage and because she has a country album, she's on stage and in this song, she mentions that she made out with Morgan Wallen, the country singer. You know the "Get me to God's country." Get me to God's country. So now I know what he meant by "Get me to God's country." Get me to Lana Del Rey.
Oh my God.
He touched the lips.
If a woman, tries to defend herself or give her opinion, that's not the norm and not the kindness and the niceness that we're supposed to be or that we're used to. All of a sudden, she's a bitch. It's like Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl was portrayed as this huge monster in Hollywood, this huge, don't work with her. And she did an interview and she's like, I'm a kind person. I just have a certain standard, basically. And I was uncomfortable with things, and she spoke her mind. I saw the worst thing on the internet today. Okay, I'm going to lead this episode with my low light. I went online today and I saw the most fail of a gender reveal. Okay, I cannot get over how much I am absolutely hating the over-the-top gender reveals. This couple was on a stage, and if it was whatever gender it was, they had the matching colors pink and blue, and this smoke and slime would come out and spill on people in front of them. Well, it was a girl, and when they turned around, the smoke and slime hit the pregnant woman.
Oh my God.
And all of a sudden, they started running. The dad ran away from her, then thought, oh yeah, maybe I should help her, and then turned around to get her. And she was like on the floor laughing, trying to get up, trying to jump off the stage. And I was like, what is wrong with people? Why are we doing dangerous gender reveals? Why are they over the top like this? It is so annoying. I can't stand it. I'm done with them.
I think gender reveals are so funny. And what makes it funny is like the cultural significance and how many like crazy, like catastrophic disasters have happened from gender reveals. Do you know what I mean? They like burn down the house.
Yes. And the one time somebody did one and a plane flew over them, and whatever smoke was released from the plane or whatever was the gender, and then the plane blew up. And in the video, no one cared about the plane. And like the worst part is that like every single time the gender is what the dad wants, normally the mother-in-law, like the mother of the dad, will run to him and take away from the actual mother.
Of course, yes.
Like, I'm just like, I'm so done. Like, can we just bite into a cupcake? Let's just keep it simple. Cut a cake. You know
Literally.
what I mean?
Literally.
I don't understand. Why are we blasting off all this smoke, spilling slime, falling off the stage just to see if you're having a boy or a girl? I can't.
Well, the next thing we knew is like the Blue Origin penis rocket from the celebrities with the space in. They're going to shoot one of those up, and then they're...
Stop it.
They're going to blow one of those up in the sky.
Stop. It's coming. It's coming. But okay, enough with the negativity for me. My highlight is that we have booked in some amazing guests for my trip to LA. So I'm coming from May 12th to 19th, and we have some awesome guests who are coming in, some that we're just both so excited. So there's going to be all kinds of different conversations, all kinds of different topics. It's going to be so much fun. And a part of this whole thing is I get to sleep in Kyle's bed again for like a week.
Oh God. No, we have really been leveling up. Like there's a lot happening. Like I can't express like Blonde Highlights is about to get big. You know what I mean? Like we're doing so many big things happening in the next month or so. Kris is coming to town. We have too many guests booked. Like we have to like figure out how many people we can see while she's here. And then we have so many more guests coming. And so many more, they're just on a wait list at this point to get in.
Basically, we're not even lying. It's like we just put in this new energy to the podcast and things are happening. Blonde Highlights is going places.
Going places. And there's like TV stars. You know what I mean? Like the other day I was talking to Kris on the phone and her husband came in and was like, when are you going to do this or something? And she was like, and I was like, girl, you tell him. Things are going to be a little different around here. You know what I mean? Kris is booking celebrities on her podcast. Things are going to change.
We're going places, Michael. Like, step it up. You need to understand.
Exactly.
Listen. Okay, what's your highlight? What's your low light?
Okay, so my highlight is just they're just ridiculous stuff. So basically, highlight is there's this woman I saw that she's going viral on the internet, okay? And she is like a middle-aged woman. I guess she lives in Nashville. But anyways, she's been posting these videos and she's like, my husband's boring. And then she's posting more because they're going viral. She's like, and then she's like, I'm about to have a brat summer or stuff. Like, and then she's like listening to Charlie XCX. Like, this is somebody's grandmother, okay? And she's divorcing her husband, she has said, because he's boring. He's a Trump supporter. And then she found out on top of that, he has the audacity to cheat on her. So,
oh no.
Oh yeah. So she's throwing a massive divorce party in Nashville and she's wearing brat green. It's all going to be brat music. And she's like, I'm bringing a brat summer with a divorce.
Honestly, like everyone's like, is it going to be like another brat summer? And this woman just made it happen. She's like 100%. I didn't get to do it last year. We're doing it this year. And I love that she's throwing a divorce party. I mean, that needs to see, we need to have less massive gender reveals and bigger divorce parties.
Literally.
Right? Like, no, we're done here. We're shifting the narrative.
Exactly. That's the best thing. People should start doing that. Doing like the planes that like can write things in the sky. Yeah. And it's just like, we're getting a divorce, Bob.
But I'm keeping the dog. Take it, the damn dog. If you don't get that reference,
get off this podcast. Get out of here. There ain't no place for you here if you don't know that reference.
No, there's not. I'm sorry. Okay, so what's your low light?
So my low light is I went to a party, okay, the other night, okay, because she's busy, you know what I mean? The people are inviting me to parties these days. It was happening. It was for a comedy group that I do. They were having like an anniversary party. So I drive all the way out because it was a little bit out of the city to this party. And I'm telling you, one of the funnest parties I've been to in forever. But the thing is that I had to work the next day. She wasn't Ubering out there. So I had like one hard cider. Okay. One hard cider. Okay. And Kyle is infamous for being the last to leave parties because, she's a booze hound. She's getting turned up and she's the last to leave unless you run out of alcohol. But I'm sober. How did I was the last to leave the party after one hard cider and I forgot my purse there.
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Yes. So I'm like, how am I pulling drunk moves sober? But then so yesterday I had to drive back out there to go get my purse.
Oh, and you know what? There's not even like a fun story to that. Like I've left my IDs places and then like you look back on it. It's like, yeah, I had to do the walk of shame and be like, hey, I left my ID here. And they're like, yeah, we found it in the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, like leave me alone. And it's like a memory. This is just an inconvenience. This is just annoyance. Like you had to drive all the way back there and you weren't even drunk. There's not even like a,
I know. But I guess that's a highlight too, because she had the time of her life on one hard
Yeah,
cider.
things that I like. Yes. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. See, that's the difference between us is that you're going out to like all these cool parties and I'm throwing birthday parties for the kids. Like we're both partying. Like 2 weeks ago, remember, I had my party hangover because I had like kids sleeping over. Different but same.
Different but same. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, speaking of being tired,
Hmm.
do you think Katy Perry's still tired from her trip to space?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like something happened. Like I don't know that 11 minutes must have been exhausting.
I think so. Honestly, like I don't like to hate on people, okay? So here's the thing. When I saw her concert, her opening night, and I saw her flying around on that thing and doing whatever, I was honestly like, wow, she really, really went for it. I didn't see anything wrong until the internet dragged her. And then I was like, oh, she does look a little bit tired, but she's also like a mom.
Yeah, but it's just odd because like I just feel like even a few months ago she was giving it.
Yeah, like maybe like, and that's what I mean is like some of the comments are so mean. Like people on the internet are so fucked. I'm sorry. Like I can't get over it. But like I saw the one thing and I had to die because remember that performance that Hillary Duff did in New York and it wasn't like that much energy in it. People are pairing Katy Perry dancing with Hillary Duff's song.
The one where she's at the Today Show, like in New York, and she's like, dun dun, like she gives like the little like give nothing choreography.
Yes, yes, but like
Yes.
it's still everything. And like, I just don't understand. Like, Katy Perry has so many fucking things happening in this show. There's like sword fights, there's like a big like monster thing coming out. She's jumping through the air. Okay, she missed someone, but she's jumping through the air, like running over people. She's flying things around. And it's like, what more do people want?
Literally, that's what I was wondering too. Like that's the thing, oh, is I was just like I didn't see any of the clips, and I just thought like you know what I mean. There is like there's some Katy Perry hate going on and whatever. We don't need to get into that. And I was like, oh, people were just jumping on and just like dragging her. But then I saw it and I was like, oh, she is exhausted. Like she's like
Mhm.
right turn, move, head up, down, let's go.
Like, but here's the thing though, like again, I didn't notice it until I started seeing the comments, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I do see it. People were like, it looks like a dress rehearsal. But you know what though? Like the girl just got back from space. She's a mom. Like we had to give her some grace here.
No, but
Like,
literally, exactly. I'm telling you what, you wouldn't see my ass up on there to give him choreography.
okay, well, and this is the other thing. It's not like everybody who's ripping her apart. It's like, could you even do half of these moves? Like, no.
Okay, so my gossip, we're going country, okay, for two things I have to bring up that's happening. One, because Stagecoach is happening right now, which is like the country music Coachella.
Yes.
And it's the same location. It's the next week after. It's the same everything, but it's country music. And then they have like some non-country artists there. And Lana Del Rey came on. And you know what I mean? We love everything Lana does.
Duh.
Like Lana's an icon. I've met Lana. I've done Lana's hair before. You know what I mean? Like we're not friends, but like in my head we are. But
Yes,
anyways,
of course.
there's a lot of parallels. But anyways, so Lana Del Rey is on stage and because she has a country album or whatever it's being called now, gothic country, southern gothic, or I don't know what it's called. But anyways, she's doing country. She's on stage, and in this song, she mentions that she made out with Morgan Wallen, the country singer. You know the "Get me to God's country."
God.
Get me to God's country.
Get
So
me-
now I know what he meant by "Get me to God's country." Get me to Lana fucking Del Rey.
Oh my God.
He
yes.
touched the lips. And then, but honestly, like she didn't say it as in like it was a good thing. She said it as in like, I'm sharing a deep, dark secret that I'm extremely embarrassed about.
And he wants it again.
Yes. She's like, it got to his head, and she's like, don't go ATV eating with Morgan Wallen and when you're out west.
Stop it. That's so funny.
But no, she's cool. She sounded good because I know there was some issues with the audio during her last year's Coachella performance, which who cares? It was iconic. And then I saw where she performed with Jelly Roll too, who I like. He's a country singer, rapper turned country singer I like. But anyways, I was like, I gotta share that. You know what I mean? Because I heard no one else say that that's what God's country was.
That's so funny. I've been loving all the Stagecoach outfits though.
Yeah, they're cute.
They're so cute. Like Paris Hilton looks adorable. I don't know if you saw her outfit. Oh my God. She looks like next level. But I just feel like everyone really stepped up their outfits this year for Stagecoach.
They really did. You know what I mean? And it wasn't in like tacky, cheesy, whatever. Do you know what I mean? They were cute. They were sexy. They were cute. It was giving country, but it wasn't giving like, I went to a costume shop.
Yes. It's not giving like Western.
Yes.
Western.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. But I think the country aesthetic can sometimes be a little cheesy. Do you know what I mean? Like
yes.
Yeah, you know, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I grew up deep in the country, like very country. And people weren't wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats.
No. I mean, like, I think there's definitely like a cute way to do it. And this year, they nailed it.
They nailed it. All
the girlies are dressing and it's coming out hot.
Yes. My last thing, and I want to share that and this could have been my highlight actually, but it is like a pop culture kind of moment. And I just thought it was really amazing is my favorite country singer of all times and always will be is Miranda Lambert.
Oh my gosh, yes, we love her.
Love Miranda Lambert. I've seen her in concert. Like she's better in concert than she is on the albums because she gets like a rock to her. Like it's rock music a little bit.
Wonderful.
Anyways, it was like some anniversary of her first album from Kerosene. And Miranda Lambert, despite being the queen of country, has always been an outspoken supporter of the LGBT community because her brother's gay and he's like married to a man. Well, to celebrate the anniversary, her brother threw a Miranda Lambert drag contest.
Stop it.
Yes.
That is so much fun.
And it's so iconic because this is something like Cher would do, or you know what I mean? Like Dolly Parton. Like this is how this happens, you know? But anyway, so it was like all these drag queens dressed as Miranda Lambert performing her music. And she was hanging out with all the drag. She was taking shots of tequila, getting wild, having a blast. And I just thought like, I freaking love that. Like when it's not as easy to be a supporter, not as easy to do whatever. She's like, listen, I know how to have a good time with tequila shots and drag queens dressed as me.
She's like, I am here for it. You guys do what you want. Like, this is all about me. I love that.
Me too.
Ugh, that's so much fun.
So much fun.
See, that's what we need. We just need more fun parties like that in life.
Exactly. Like, have a good time.
That's all we need to do. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, okay, let's get into our topic today. If you grew up as a people pleaser, this episode is all about you. So buckle up. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and I think people pleasing, this is a topic that is so near and dear to my heart. And I'm really surprised that we haven't already done this topic because, like, I am such a victim of being a people pleaser. Seriously,
I feel like, especially the millennial crowd, I feel like we grew up in a society where we had to people please. It was always very much like you cannot speak your mind to anyone who has any position of authority over you, any sort of adult. You just have to, yes, ma'am, no, sir. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that really has done a lot. I know for myself, it has done a lot to me and being a people pleaser throughout my whole life and just trying to keep peace and like, okay, if I just play nice, everyone will like me and everything will be fine.
Exactly. And I think that with my situation, you know, I was a very odd kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, wasn't popular. I didn't have a lot of friends. It was very different. I was, you know, being trans, I was an extremely, extremely feminine little boy growing up. And I always felt like something was wrong with me. Do you know what I mean? And so I had such low self-esteem about myself. So I thought for the only way that people could like me is if I was an absolute people pleaser, and I would never say no to anyone. I would always do exactly like what everyone said. I would minimize myself to be lower. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always was putting myself below everyone else because I felt that something was wrong with me. So I needed to suck up to everybody for them to even tolerate my existence.
100%. I know exactly what you're talking about because I feel like it really just stems from childhood. And I think it stems from not necessarily just like the home environment that you live in, but just the society and the culture around us, especially at that time. Everything in the media, especially for, you know, I know myself, like being a young woman, there was always this pressure that you had to be nice, you had to be polite, you had to be a good little girl, all of this. And I think that really went in and transpired into my young teenage years where the same thing, it was like, okay, if I just put everybody else's needs before mine, even if I'm unhappy, even if I'm exhausted, they're happy, I'm liked, there's zero problems.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that can lead to so many, you know, problems in adulthood. And so it's something that like, but we are conditioned to think that that's completely normal and to think that that's the way it should be. And I think one thing is definitely with like gender too.
Uh-huh.
There's definitely a lot of like a rule of like a woman is to be pleasing of everyone's needs for sure.
Yeah. And her needs come last. And I think that people pleasing, if you're growing up that way, it can be very dangerous as you get to be a young adult or even as a child. But in your relationships, like I feel like people pleasing puts such a strain on your self-worth. And I think that because you're minimizing yourself to the point where it's like you don't care about your own needs, you don't care about what matters to you and how draining it is. And because you're putting everyone else first, I feel like you can get stuck in these relationships or situations that you don't know how to get yourself out of because you're scared of making other people mad or you're scared of any sort of negative consequence that's towards you. So I think that it's kind of a danger as well as, you know, it's not good for your self-worth. There's so many negativities to it, but I think like that's one aspect as well.
Exactly. And there's another thing that you can kind of notice if you're being a people pleaser is if you're constantly apologizing. Do you know what I mean? Like that is so ingrained in us to be like I will literally like someone can do something to me. Someone can hit me with a door in my face and I'm like, oh my God, sorry. I'm so sorry I did that.
Well, okay. And honestly, being Canadian on top of that,
Oh,
it's like we were born. All of our first word was sorry. Like if I'm in the grocery store and someone, same thing, hits me, they could come up and smack me. And I'll be like, oh, sorry, I must have been in your way. And vice versa. Like that's also the culture that like I grew up in. But you're right. Like there are things that I will and I have apologized for in relationships, in work environments, and everything where I'm apologizing and I literally didn't do anything wrong. But I'm apologizing because I want to keep the peace and I want to be likable. That's wrong.
exactly, exactly. And another one of the other things that I do, and this is a problem in my career doing hair because of all the scheduling and stuff, but also in just every aspect of my life is completely doing overcommitment.
Yes.
Because I'm so scared if I say no to somebody or I say, I'm sorry, I don't have the time to do that, or could we do this next week? There'll be rejection. And so you catch yourself overcommitting and constantly booking things. And before you know it, you're sleeping like 4 hours a night and you're not getting anything done for yourself. Your life is crumbling, but you're over here doing little things for other people so that you can get their validation.
Yes. And for me, it was always just the fear of having people being mad at me. I don't know like what that stems from, but literally like, and I know that people in my life have taken advantage of that because if I would say no to people, and I'm happy that this is something that I've really grown out of. If I've said no to people, I would be so scared, not looking for their validation, but just like, please don't be mad at me. Like, don't be mad. Okay, are you mad at me if I do this? Are you mad at me if I don't do this? And I would have so much anxiety about keeping other people happy and just so they're not mad at me. And it's like, for what? I'm literally like melting down trying to keep my head above water just to keep other people happy. So there needs to be a fine line between, maintaining your relationships and having balance, as well as making sure that you're not doing things that you're not comfortable with.
Exactly. And it's like, we should be kind to each other. We should help each other. We should do things for each other. But it also, you should want to do that if we want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have time. You don't always have to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just, people can't, like, shouldn't be dependent on somebody's liking you because you got to do this for them at this time or do that. It's your friendship and your closeness with other people shouldn't be dependent on you always saying yes, or you always being there at this time to help them, or you always doing everything for them, because people will take advantage of that.
That's happened to me like so many times. And here's the thing too, is that when that starts happening, it really starts to show the lack of respect that that friend or family member or person, whatever, has towards you, because they know that they can get whatever they want from you, but they don't care that maybe it's stressing you out. They don't care that maybe you're going home exhausted because you've just done everything for them. But I think this also stems to like how you said about being kind. It's like, I think because we were grown up as like, you need to be nice to everyone. You need to be polite to everyone. You need to, make sure that you're likable. I think that we need to sort of start to distinguish the difference between being kind and being nice. So you can be kind-hearted and like genuinely do things because you care or because you just have like a kind mindset. But then being nice sometimes gets all the way to the point of you're being so over the top nice and trying to be just like something that other people want you to be all the time. And I think that you can really start to fall into that nice trap when really you need to step out and just be kind, because also being kind means you're being kind to yourself as well.
Yes. And there's always this analogy between the US's two biggest cities of New York City and LA. And people say that New Yorkers are kind and LA people are nice. And basically what they mean by that is like a New Yorker will be like, get the fuck out of my way. Or like, you know what I mean? But if something happens, they're going to stand up for you. They're going to fight for you. Your tire's blown out on the side of the road. They're going to help you fix that tire. Where you come to LA and everyone's going to be like, hi, you look beautiful. You're always so great. Let's get together for dinner. And then like never do that. And they're not going to help you do anything, but they're going to be so kill you with niceness. But is it really that genuine? And that's kind of like an example. And I'm not saying that that's 100% true, because native Angelenos and a lot of Angelenos are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. But that is an analogy that is used between the two cities a lot.
I agree with that.
And there's one thought I just thought of is, like the thing is with the overcommitting and constantly is people start to respect you less, because think of it this way, like an Hermes bag. Okay. The reason that they are so respected, so sought after, is because of the exclusivity of it. You can't just go in and buy one. One, they're expensive as hell, but also you can't just go in and buy it. There's a whole system. It's exclusive to get a hold of one and to get certain models. And so people respect them so much. But also like a bag that you can just go and grab anywhere that's affordable and whatever, people don't have a respect for that brand name as much. And it's the same thing. If you were just constantly going to always say yes and always be available for everybody and always put yourself last, they're going to respect you less.
Exactly. I think that like as you're saying this is really just making me realize like the more that you project to the world that you respect yourself, the more that you project to everyone around you that you have a lot of self-respect and like you're going to put your needs first to a degree and you're going to make sure that like you're happy, the way you treat yourself will then start to reflect the way that other people start to treat you. Like you're right. Like if you're always available, you're always being run down, you're like the $5 bag from whatever, like TJ Maxx, whatever, people are just gonna, you're right, take advantage. But if you just start showing like, no, like this is how I respect myself, this is how I treat myself, people will start to know that and they will start to mirror that.
100%.
Yes. And you know what? I think that lately I feel like, so from when we were growing up, like especially me again, it was like be a nice girl, be whatever, you have to be nice, you have to be kind. But I feel like there's been this shift in just the culture as a whole where it's like, no, you don't have to be nice and pretty. Use your voice. Like I feel like, there's so much advocacy now for especially young girls to start using their voice to, self-care, all of this. And I feel like there's been a huge switch where now people are starting to stand up for themselves. And even just the amount of work that I've had to do on myself to like reteach myself to not be a people pleaser, it takes a lot of effort. But I feel like the younger generation is already coming out of childhood as someone who's going to just stand up for themselves. They're not going to take the shit. They have no problem, telling their boss off. They have no problem doing certain things that we were taught was like, you absolutely do not do that.
Yes, I see that a lot. And I think that maybe maybe because of the digital age and because of how connected they are to us older generations. No, like people that are a little bit older than them or older generations, they can see that like because we learned this the hard way. We're at like I'm my mid 30s and I've really learned in the last few years that there is consequences of being such a people pleaser like that. And you do become burnt out by people. You start to, constantly resent people. You're completely burned out by society. Like it's just like you start to feel like unfulfilled and whatever. And I think that that's a natural cycle to kind of happen as age progresses. But they're learning that from us. At the same time, we're learning it, because we're sharing this on social media. We're talking about these kind of things, even just society. We're really learning to say, hey, this isn't exactly how this should be.
Exactly. People are speaking out now. And I think that, especially the generation that's even older than us, they're seeing it as a sign of disrespect when people are speaking out and they're being opinionated. And it's like, no, it's called just being yourself and speaking your mind. And I feel like you're right. I feel like us millennials have really paved that way. Or is it Gen Z? Gen Z, right?
Gen Z,
Younger
yes.
one? Yes. To come out and be confident and to say things like we're seeing it in pop culture even. Like when we were growing up, we had like Mandy Moore, we had Britney Spears, we had Jessica Simpson, and we had like Christina Aguilera. And I mean, she took her moment. But that Dirty video was so controversial because it was outside of the norm of what the typical pop star was supposed to be. She was supposed to be prim. She was supposed to be a fine example to the younger generation. She was supposed to be a role model. And now I feel like the pop stars are coming out and they're just doing what they want to do, right? Like people are clapping back to Sabrina Carpenter because they're bringing their daughters there and they're like, this is way too sexual. She needs to be a role model. And Sabrina Carpenter's like, don't come to my concert then. Where that would never really be heard of before. It would be like, no, we need to switch up all the gears to appease to everyone.
Yeah, and Chappell Roan's gotten a lot of heat for that too, where she's like the photographers, you know what I mean? She's yelled at them. And they're constantly saying like she's crazy and she's being disrespectful and all these things. But all she's saying is like, back up. Like, stop telling me what to do. Like, I'm doing my own thing. Don't. I'm not going to sit here and be like, thank you for taking my photos. Thank you for chasing me. Thank you for following me down the road and taking photos of me when I look like shit. And I just woke up and I'm trying to get some coffee. Like,
yeah. And why is it like, especially with women, it's like if a woman speaks up, if a woman says anything, if a woman tries to defend herself or give her opinion, that's not the norm and not the kindness and the niceness that we're supposed to be or that we're used to. All of a sudden she's a bitch. It's like Katherine Heigl. Katherine Heigl was portrayed as this huge monster in Hollywood, this huge bitch. Don't work with her. And she did an interview and she's like, I'm a kind person. I just have a certain standard, basically. And I was uncomfortable with things and she spoke her mind. And then all of a sudden she was, blacklisted for a little bit.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. I think that there is a lot of times a hierarchy of society that people put into place. And so I think women are definitely victim of being kind of pressured into the people pleasing. But then even as you go down, you know what I mean? It's just like, even with trans people expect like, well, if you're going to be here, you need to be behaved and you need to be good and you need to be act a certain way, look a certain way, do a certain thing, because you should be begging for us to approve of you. You need to get in line so that we approve of you. And it's like, I don't need your approval at all.
Exactly. And you know what? It's even like the actress right now, Rachel Zelger. Outside, I'm not going to speak about her political views and what she's saying politically, but for her press tour for Snow White. Now, look, I understand that if you're playing such an iconic role, you should maybe like the role, whatever. However, she has received so much flack and backlash to the point where people aren't even going to see the movies because she didn't put on the persona of a Disney princess during her press tour. And by meaning that, she wasn't what the people wanted her to be. People wanted her to be the sweet kind, the Snow White that they have in their head. And they kind of wanted her to be that character. But her as a human, she's like, no, she's like, the story's ass backwards and we need to start making changes. And she had a real raw opinion. And because of that, I feel like she just got dragged through the mud. And again, I understand that, like, if you're playing a role, you should maybe be more excited about the character. Okay. I do respect that aspect. But to down her for everything that she said about it and the way that she said it, like, people don't like the way she speaks. It's like, well, then how do you want her to just be someone else? You want her, again, to fit the mold of what's something that you want.
Exactly. And I think, though, I don't know, maybe people may not like me saying this, but in my career, I've worked around celebrities for the last 15 years, my whole adult life. And celebrities are really just like normal people who have a cool job. Like, and I know that's probably cliche to say that, but it really is true. When you're with them, you're in their house, you're whatever, they're just like your friend from high school. They just have a cool job that they go to sometimes. And so people really put people on such a platform and expect them to be unflawed, perfect goddesses all the time.
And that's the thing. And like, circling back to Rachel Zelger, it's like she's making these points to stand up for women. She's making these points to try to create more of a stronger narrative towards women, where it's like, you don't need a prince. And again, it's like, once again, it just falls into the category of, you know what, it's not what we want. We want nice. We want a bubbly Disney princess on tour and on press. And I just think it's bullshit, because when men do this shit, they can get away with it left, right, and center. Men can be whoever they want to be, when they want to be, where they want to be, and they get away with it. Women, you have to fit the mold or else you're in trouble.
Exactly. You know something? I just thought of this right now. I've been kind of like low-key getting obsessed with Lorde again, the singer. Because she's had that moment with Charlie XCX on Girls So Confusing. We talked about that here on the podcast. We did like an episode almost, I think, on that. But that's a little bit of an example of the people pleasing too in that song as well. But what I like is she has this new era coming out, a new album and everything, and she's not giving sexy, beautiful pop girl. She's given mask. You know what I mean? She's given mask style. She's like, I'm not out here in a mini skirt. That's great if you want to do that, but that's not me. And so I'm not going to change myself and put myself into that box to make you happy about me being a pop singer.
And it's so funny because in the bigger picture, the pop stars right now, by taking a stand for themselves and doing all the things, and all these women who are getting the shit on, they're actually the real role models, because they're like, here we are, we're being who we are, we're being our authentic selves. You either like it or fuck off. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, back in the day, a lot of these girls were fitting a mold that they didn't even really want to be in. So, but I do
Exactly.
think that I do think that there's a fine line. Like, look, we're not saying to go out into the world and be an asshole, but if you choose to be petty if you need to be. I was petty the other day. I was so petty, and it's because I'm just so sick of people taking advantage or like being rude to me. And even though, okay, maybe I was in the wrong for this one, short story. I'm going down the street in my car. A woman driving a bus is coming, and like I pull over, but like I guess not far enough, and she rolls down her window and she's like, "Do you not see him coming down the road?" And I couldn't even help it. I was just like, "Ew, sorry." Like, and I was just so rude to her. Instead of just being an adult and being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or like whatever, I was so rude to this lady. Like I literally said "you" to her, and I just like drove off, like no fucks given. And you know what? I know it was petty, but like it felt so good.
Yes, and that's the thing too, is that it is that kind of thing with like when it turns to pettiness, it's that like always it's okay, it's okay, and you hold all of your feelings in, you hold everything in, and then someone does a little something, and instead of you being like, no, I don't like that, you just go off, like you go crazy, you say the most passive aggressive mean shit, you do a passive aggressive action, you know what I mean? It's like instead of just like getting mad at someone and telling them for like your boyfriend for cheating on you, whatever, you're just like you wait and then you go and like sleep with his best friend instead of just saying you're an asshole, no, get away from me, you're like, I'm just gonna go do this petty action.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm here for it. Like I love a petty bitch. Like I think it's just because maybe for me it's just like rebel against it. Like be the asshole to a degree, to a degree. But no, there does need to be a fine line between, being just like a complete petty asshole who's unkind versus just being a people pleaser. And I think once you find that happy medium, you'll be fine.
Exactly. And one thing I was thinking with the pettiness that just reminded me is when I was younger and being such an extreme case of the people pleasing situation, guys were turned off by that when I was dating them.
Yes.
Because they were like, can you get mad at me? Like, will you get mad at me? I cheated on you. You were asleep in my bed and I had sex with someone in the living room. I cheated on you in the same house. And you're not mad at me. You're not breaking up with me. What is wrong with you?
I'm going to tell you something right now. They didn't make the statement, what is it? Be mean, keep them keen for a reason.
Yes.
It is so true. The more that you show a guy that you're available and you'll do anything for him and you'll be a people pleaser, the more they're automatically turned off because there's no element of chase. There's no element, you're not the Hermes bag. You're now the Marshall's bag. Do you know what I mean? You need to be exclusive. Is that the word you used? Is that the word you used early? Exclusive?
Yes, exclusivity. Yes, exclusive. Yeah, 100%. And the other thing with that, and this is on the same bounds as that, is like, if you were constantly always agreeing with everybody, like if everyone's like, I love this music, and you're like, I love that music too. Or I love this TV show. Yeah, that's my favorite show too. Where is your self-identity?
Exactly.
And that was my problem forever, is that I didn't know who I was. When I started therapy years ago, and especially in my journey too, in my transition too, this was a part of it where it's like, I said to my therapist, because she was kind of like, who are you? What are your interests? What are your favorite things? And I'm like, what the people around me want me to be my favorite things? I don't know. Who am I? What is my personality? What is my identity? What is my anything? I had no self-identity because my identity was to mirror the people around me. And I had a different personality for each friend and each person in my life. And so imagine having a birthday party when all your different friends come and you have a different personality for all of them.
They're like, who the fuck is this bitch?
I know.
No, I agree with that. And you know what? It's so funny you say that because I used to do that a lot. I would agree with people about things that I liked when I hated them. And it gets to a point where it's just like, you need to bring something to the table that's you, because that's what makes life exciting. If everybody likes the same thing, if everybody is agreeing just to agree, You know what I mean? Like once I started, and it's the same thing, once I started just being myself and being like, no, I don't like this, or actually, I prefer this, I felt more comfortable in myself and I actually felt less anxious around people.
Right, right. Because you weren't begging for their approval. You're just like, this is me. This is who I am.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, or like, hey, if I want to go home now, I'm gonna go home now. Like, I have kids to deal with in the morning. I don't want to stay out till like midnight. I'm going. Like, we're getting good nights now, good bedtimes now. I'm telling you.
I know, but I think it is a constant battle. And I think it's something that I will fight the rest of my life. And I think about it, definitely have made progress with the people pleasing, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet at
Like,
all. And sometimes I am so jealous of people who are like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, no. Like they're never like, they're not going to do a single thing they don't want to do.
I know.
And that doesn't
I've
mean they
seen.
don't do kind things, but they want to do that kind thing if they do it. Like, and no one expects them to do it either because they know that they're going to be like, yeah, go fuck off.
I know. You know what? Honestly, I've learned a lot of that from my little sister. She's 13 years younger than me. And I used to find that so inspiring about her, is because she would be like, no, I'm not doing that, or no, no. And I was like, how the fuck does she just say no? How do you
Yes.
say no like that? And then again, she's very Gen Z. I was like, oh my God. And you can just say no. Like I did. I learned it from my younger sister because growing up, I was always, yes, yes, yes. Anyways, I completely get what you mean.
Yeah. And it definitely does lead a lot of times to some petty behaviors, and not that being petty is the inverse of people pleasing by any means, but it is, you do end up doing petty stuff because you don't want to confront the situation. You're avoiding confrontation. So you're making the petty comment. You're doing the petty action. You're going to go sleep with their best friend to get back at them, not just say, this was messed up and confronting the situation.
Exactly. Exactly.
What are some like crazy, petty things that you've done?
Oh my God. Okay. I used to do things to, I would set up scenarios to make guys jealous if like they were upset with me, or if somebody's pissed me off and I know that they're going to overthink things, I would send them just like a K response instead of just being like, hey, this bothered me, or I have ghosted people. I've done a lot of asshole things. Like the other day, I was so rude to that lady for no reason. Um, I've done a lot of petty things in my life, and I have certainly decided to choose the petty route.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's my thing too. I think I'm most guilty of just like making passive aggressive comments,
Oh my God, yes, you are.
but you do too.
I know. Actually, that's where we're both really bad, is that when we make passive aggressive, we did it to each other today when we were talking. And okay, so we were getting ready today. Quick side note, and I was like, fuck, I'm hungry. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like eating something. And I was asking her all these questions, and she's like, are you all set up? And I was just like, I like looked up at her and I was just like, did you read the notes?
I didn't even pick up on that. I just meant it, and like we both get distracted, and we're doing this,
I
this, and
know,
this.
I know. And I was like, don't you dare tell me not to eat right now. Like,
But yeah, I definitely think that one thing is like you'll do instead of just saying something, you start doing small things to get under someone's skin.
yes.
Do you know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
God, yes.
Or like,
Mhm. Do you want to know a crazy thing that I did that was really petty? I was
yes.
really mad at this boyfriend. I'm not going to say who it was. And this is actually kind of like not okay. And he had all these, he was very, very, very particular about his clothes. He was very, very particular about things. And so I went in and I cut little tiny holes in his shirts because he had done something that pissed me off so much. And I did that because I knew that it was just small enough to the point where it was annoying. Like it wasn't like a big rip where it was like, oh my God, I gotta get like a whole new shirt. It was just like small enough where it's like, fuck. And so I cut these little things, or then I went in and he loved everything to be alphabetical. And I would go in and I would move things around. to change the alphabetical orders. That way, when he would open it up, he would be like, oh my God, like, and he would have like a little mini freak out. But then this other boyfriend, he was so verbally abusive to me that, and he was very OCD with everything. And he would like put things on the counter and then I would move things. So he would go and get something. He'd be like, where's my gel? Let's just say. And I would hide it. And he would spend so much time looking for it. And then when he came home, I would put it in like the most obvious looking spot. And so then he would see it and be like, how the hell did I missed it? And like,
Oh my,
I know.
that's hilarious,
I don't know if
actually.
that's psychotic or petty. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely like when I use the example of sleeping with someone's friend or something, I slept with somebody's a business relations contact situation. I can't tell the story. I can't because it's I like the people involved, but I did something really shady once and like I know this act of defiance. I know this situation, and I didn't do it just because of that, but I did.
She did.
It was like a
She did.
business relation kind of situation. You know what I mean?
See, that's like a healthy petty. I think mine is just psychotic a bit. Maybe I need more therapy.
I would say that one of the funniest things that I've done that was very petty was when I was in college. I worked at a hair salon too, but then I would get like winter help jobs.
Okay.
And so I got a job at Forever 21 doing Christmas help. Okay. It was minimum wage, which this is like 2009. So minimum wage is like $5 an hour or something or less. And I got hired at Forever 21 and it was an absolute nightmare. The managers were a nightmare. Everything was a nightmare about the situation. But I was like, just going to collect this check throughout Christmas. And so they wanted us to do so much for so little. So I just pretended to be really stupid. And so I was the door greeter. They were all like, Kyle's too stupid to work the cash register. No one trusts her to count the money. She can't even do go backs from those. She just does it all wrong. So we have to put her at the front. And they would like make fun of me. And I'm like, you guys are working. I'm standing up front staring at the Abercrombie and Fitch model outside. And I'm just saying, hi, welcome to Forever 21. There's a clearance rack in the back.
Yes, you're like, I'm the smart one because I'm not busting my ass here right now. I'm chilling with a view.
Exactly. Another one I think that is really that something is that when somebody is sending you a lot of stuff in chat GPT format, even though they know that that's like one of your pet peeves.
Okay, but some people need, some people need to use chat GPT to help spit things out in a format because their brain can't formulate it. So it's just a good tool. It's a tool for some people with brains like me.
It's a tool to be passive aggressive and petty, even though they know that it's a pet peeve.
Are we in a toxic relationship? Because I'm feeling like we're toxic.
Who's being toxic?
Stop.
I'm kidding. Everyone, this is why I was cracking up laughing earlier because I thought of it. But anyways, this is an inside joke. We're being extremely petty to each other and passive aggressive. And we don't need to explain it all. But
I think they can read between the lines that we are in a very toxic relationship. And the worst part is that when we were putting our makeup on today, Kyle's sitting there laughing. She's like, you'll hear about it at the end. Now I know. Oh my God. Well, guys, I think this wraps our episode. Thanks for listening. If you know someone that needs help to not be a people pleaser, send them over the episode.
100%.
Yes.
And you could be petty and send this to somebody who needs to hear it.
Yes. And just putting it out there, this is actually being filmed in Petty Cash Studio.
Oh, yes.
How on brand for us. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.